Good morning, BHS. I'm Annie Tifo.
And I'm Maliha Amin. Welcome to a very special episode celebrating Women's History Month.
Let's get started with an overview from Binghamton's own Miss Kathleen Duffy.
Hi, I'm Miss Duffy. I teach social studies here at BHS, and I'm going to talk to you about Women's History Month. We are all familiar with Harriet Tubman, Cleopatra, and Joan of Arc, but do you know the achievements of Mary Church Terrell, Hedy Lamarr, Dolores Huerta, and Patsy Takemoto Mink? If the answer is no, this is because mainstream culture has only recently, in the last 50 years, begun to include the narratives of more women. Some major achievements by women include the creation of Kevlar, the invention of Bluetooth technology, and the isolation of stem cells in order to treat cancer. Women like Hatshepsut, Empress Wu, and Queen Elizabeth I have shown the world that women can lead successful empires. Centuries later, Americans Alice Paul and Lucy Burns pushed for equal voting rights despite wrongful imprisonment and torture, which led to the passage of the 19th Amendment. Ida B. Wells, Ella Baker, and Diane Nash risked their lives to fight for civil rights throughout the civil rights movement in order to gain equality. Computer software, life rafts, chocolate chip cookies, fire escapes, X-ray technology, and the DNA double helix were all invented by women. Women's creativity and intellect have led to modern-day vaccines, the moon landing, and the creation of the internet. As women's contributions and achievements have been largely overlooked and consequently omitted from mainstream culture, Women's History Month is a great way for us to share and spread information about the amazing contributions of our foremothers. This month in particular, I urge you to go out and learn more about the women in our history. They're pretty awesome. Women's history is our history.
Thanks, Miss Duffy, for reminding us why we celebrate.
Women have accomplished so much through our history, serving as important role models both in their own time and for generations to follow.
From leaders of vast empires like Cleopatra, Queen Victoria, or Empress Wu, to leaders of the invention industry and scientific discoveries, women around the world have risen to challenges and pushed for progress.
Some of us find our role models closer to home, in our moms, grandmothers, aunts, or sisters.
We asked Barrington teachers to tell us more about the women who have inspired them throughout their lives.
There are lots of women who have inspired me in my lifetime, but one very special woman is my grandmother, who came from Austria during World War II. She was able to escape to come to the United States to make a better life and to start, the incredible family that I have. So I really appreciate her bravery in coming to a new country and making that sacrifice for us to have a better life.
I would say Ruth Bader Ginsburg, because she was the second woman Supreme Court Justice, and she came in and very quietly but very articulately allowed us to see different perspectives so that we could gather that information and understand things from a different perspective. And she made such effective change that is helping so many of us now today.
I've had many women that inspired me in my life, but today I want to share with you about Jackie Palmquist. She was the math department chair at Matea Valley High School, where I worked before here. Her leadership was something that inspired me to become a leader of other teachers and helping students find the mathematician inside themselves.
Karen Blixen moved from Denmark to Kenya when she was 27 years old, and she wanted to start a coffee farm. She was married, but her husband was a terrible farmer. He was almost never home. Eventually he gave her syphilis, and then they divorced. Eventually she wrote the book Out of Africa, which is her memoir. I admire her most because she was brave and she ignored the gender limitations of her time and followed her passion.
First of all, with my mom, because she's just always been very supportive and just very caring, and I strive to be like her with my own children and use those characteristics also as a teacher. Two other women that would be inspiring to me are Sonia Sotomayor and Kamala Harris, because they are the first women to be in the position that they're in, and women of color. So I think it's important to celebrate their accomplishments because they pave the way for future women to be in.
In addition to the awesome women on my shirt in mathematics, a woman who inspires me today is named Jaya Iyer. She's actually the founder of a company called Savaha that makes clothes for women, all adults really, and children that let them express themselves in the things they like. Robots are not just for boys, butterflies are not just for girls, so it allows me to wear a math dress to show off my love of math and all things science.
One of the women who I most admire is Donna Carpenter. She used to be the CEO of Burton Snowboards. She's also the wife of the late Jake Carpenter, who pretty much invented snowboarding. She's one of the main reasons why Burton is a household name of snowboarding, and she also invented the Chill Foundation, which teaches underprivileged youth to snowboard.
My role model is Marin Alsop, who is the conductor of the Baltimore Symphony. She was the first female to be appointed music director of a major professional orchestra. And she has such a fine sense of leadership and musicianship, and I think it's a powerful symbol to see a woman in such a leadership role that's so often dominated by men.
My favorite role model is my mom. She's the one who inspired me actually to study history. She's overcome immense odds herself and introduced me to a world where women save the day, or they have a tag team of people that save the day. So I became a history teacher largely in part to her influence, and also I watched her overcome incredible odds, such as fighting to help my sister who has special needs and some mental disorders, and she never gives up and she just keeps pushing through. The other one I wanted to mention is Ruth Bader Ginsburg. In light of all the things that are going on in the world around her, she always saw a light at the end of the tunnel and found the best way to be successful for everyone's rights, women, men, and non-binary people as well.
The woman who has inspired me to be the person that I am today is my mother. She's a wondrous woman who, despite her lack of education, only completed 4th grade. She instilled in me and my brothers a value for education, hard work, and persistent efforts. She's one that has always taught us to be humble, kind, grounded, and generally just hardworking. And she instilled in us a notion that hard work matters, and it will help us achieve whatever we dream of.
For me, both my mother and my grandmother, they both were Irish immigrants. They taught me a sense of bravery and resiliency. The reason for that, I think, comes from my grandmother. She had a child with someone who wasn't her husband. It was before she was married. And in Ireland, it was considered illegal to have a child out of wedlock. And adoption was illegal as well. So when she was at the hospital and had her son before she had my mother, she had to give up her baby to a nurse, and she did not know where he went. And I feel like everything that she went through and the bravery and resiliency that she had, I couldn't imagine ever living through that. She's my hero. She will always be my hero.
Wow, we're so grateful for all the women who have inspired excellence in our BHS teachers.
Yes, thank you. Who are your role models, and why not take the opportunity to thank women who've inspired you?
That's a great way to celebrate Women's History Month. And here are some more things we can all do to celebrate, honor, and support women in the continual fight for gender equality. With Mia Lummy, it's time to get you in the know.
Hey Barrington, I'm Mia Lummy, and it's time to get you in the know to prove that us women can do anything we set our minds to. Women have been fighting for equal rights for nearly 2 centuries, and while this month is dedicated to what women have accomplished and their contributions to society, we should recognize these every day. It is because of these brave activists that women like me have the ability to stand here today. If you look around, you can see women leading in all industries and occupations, from being congresswomen to vice presidents, scientists, journalists, doctors, and so much more. But we still have a long way to go. Women continue to face many obstacles by just trying to achieve equality. We can't remain stuck in the past. We should be evolving for the future. We must recognize that we are all human and we all face this crazy world together, and we are stronger when we're united. Many ways you can choose to challenge this month is to educate yourself and others on women's issues and where our rights are being threatened or subverted. You can support women-owned businesses and nonprofit organizations. Right here in Barrington, we have Ambrosia, Ice Cream Social, One Girl, True Blue, Caring Women's Connection, Barrington Junior Women's Club, just to name a few. You can follow and learn from activists who specialize in how to encourage, support, and celebrate women, such as Malala, Michelle Obama, Kamala Harris, Amanda Gorman, and many others. You can read books, listen to podcasts, and watch shows and movies produced, written, and directed all by women that highlight our struggles and successes. You can even check out art exhibits and apps curated by women. And you can join all who protest sexual abuse and violence, sexism, prejudice, wage gaps, hostile work environments, and limitations on reproductive rights by checking out womensmarch.com to join the movement with in-person or virtual events. And you can also donate. We are equally smart, equally willing, and equally capable. And I'm proud to say that our all-women's cast and crew for this episode proves just that. That's it for this week, Barrington. Celebrate and stand with women this month and all year round. I'm Mia Lummy, and now you're in the know.
Thank you, Mia. We're really all in this together.
For movies that inform and inspire from Women's History Month, let's go to Lizzie and Sarah.
Hi BHS, I'm Sarah Bauernfriend.
And I'm Lizzie Galovich, and welcome back to another segment of 238 Reviews.
In honor of Women's History Month, we compiled a few documentaries and movies focused on strong and empowering women.
To start us off, Equal Means Equal on Amazon Prime is a powerful documentary exploring how women are treated in the U.S.
Lizzie, I really enjoyed this documentary. It did a great job highlighting gender inequality and the broken system of rights within this country.
I completely agree, Sarah. Another movie to watch is Moxie, just released earlier this month on Netflix. It revolves around a teen girl who is inspired by her mother's rebellious past. She was infuriated by the constant sexism in her high school that nobody was doing anything about. So she took it into her own hands and made an anonymous social media account calling everyone out.
What do 16-year-olds care about? When I was 16, all I cared about was smashing the patriarchy and burning it all down.
Oh my God. Girls constitute a revolution.
Wow, Lizzie, that sounds amazing. And speaking of amazing, Taylor Swift has an award-winning documentary on Netflix called Miss Americana, where the pop star finally gets political.
Yep, she opens up about her fame, her sexual assault lawsuit, her experience with an eating disorder, and what it's like to be a woman in the public eye who is constantly being judged for every decision she makes.
The last documentary we have for today, Knock Down the House, focuses on AOC.
This documentary follows AOC as well as 3 other progressives. AOC fought an uphill battle as a woman in politics who is constantly using her voice to make people aware of political issues.
This was a very powerful documentary, and it was super eye-opening.
Yes, Sarah, I felt the exact same way while watching it.
Well, that's all we have for this week, Barrington. I'm Sarah Bauernfriend.
And I'm Lizzie Galovich, sending it back to Maliha and Annie in the studio.
Thanks for joining us in this very special edition of BHS TV. I'm Annie Tifo.
And I'm Maliha Amin. We'll wrap up this episode with a few words for inspiration from BHS TV's Anna Hawk.
Women's History Month isn't about making women stronger. We are already strong. It's about changing the way the world perceives our strength and using it to build each other up, not tear each other down. I am that girl. You are that girl.
Together we change the world.